Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for attending our workshop this evening. We're coming down to the wire with momentum. Listen to the new radio ads. We even have a campaign jingle.
Hear our plea. Vote for Russell Lee.
Proven leadership and experience, Russell Lee for 8th Ward Alderman. U.S. Army veteran who fought in World War II and former Jefferson County probation officer, Russell Lee will work for equality and prosperity for all citizens of Louisville.
I'm Russell Lee, and I ask for your vote on November 3rd. I'm Russell Lee. As a supervisor for the National Youth Organization, I helped 1,200 Negro high school and college students in Kentucky get jobs when an economic crisis destroyed their education and employment prospects. I'll expand job opportunity for 8th Ward residents and help Louisville reach its full economic potential.
Hear our plea. Vote for Russell Lee. He's got fight. He'll protect your civil rights. Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee. You want good jobs? Put Russell Lee in charge. It's time to integrate. He's your man in District 8. Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee.
Russell Lee for 8th Ward Alderman.
I'm Russell Lee, candidate for 8th Ward Alderman. I ask for your vote on November 3rd. For too long, the city of Louisville has been run by ultra-conservative Democrat politicians who relegate Negroes to second-class citizenship. I'll take dead aim at politics as usual and work for positive change. Send the Jim Crow Democrats a message next Tuesday. Vote Republican.
That's right. I'm a Republican. I'm not that kind of Republican. The kind that preach hate, lock up innocent children, and do everything they can to deny the Negro citizenship rights, starting with the right to vote. In Louisville, we've learned to use the two-party system to our advantage. Democrats won't give us the public accommodations ordinance we want, so we assembled an all-Republican ticket. Louise Reynolds, GOP Ward Committee woman, is running in the 11th District to become the first Negro woman elected to the board. That will make it 2 blacks to 10 whites on the board, doubling our chances for positive impact. We want to end housing discrimination. And if the Republicans don't give us that, stop redlining and enable our people to buy homes outside the West End, or vote them out and vote in Democrats. I stand for progress. Downtown merchants don't want Negro business. And if elected, I will introduce an ordinance that will end discrimination in public places. I've always been involved in politics, but never as a candidate. Then several days before the filing deadline, my doorbell rang. And there stood 2 young men who I had helped years ago working in the National Youth Administration. They had a petition signed by a bunch of people. Quote, We, the undersigned, request that Mr. Russell P. Lee submit his name as candidate for 8th Ward Alderman, unquote. There was already a Negro serving in the 8th Ward, William Beckett, the one black face on the board, fly in the bowl of buttermilk. He's a good man, did what he could, but he's in the wrong party this time around, the segregationist Democrat Party. It doesn't want Negroes staying at hotels downtown, or eating at drugstore lunch counters, or trying on clothes at white department stores. We aren't even welcome at Fountain Ferry Park. So how could I say no? And guess what? Martin Luther King Jr., young minister who led the Birmingham bus boycott, he's coming to Louisville. Expect 9,000 people to hear him, going to mobilize our people to register and vote for the promised land of racial equality. I hope he makes that "Give us the ballot" speech that he delivered at the Lincoln Memorial. Give us a ballot, and we will no longer worry the federal government about our basic rights. Give us a ballot, and we will fill our legislatures with men of goodwill. Give us a ballot, and we will place judges on the benches of the South who will do justice and love mercy. There's a joke about a colored Harvard professor who moves to the Deep South and tries to register to vote. The white clerk hands him a sheet of paper and says, "Here, boy, read this here section of the U.S. Constitution, if you can." We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility. Clerk interrupts, hands him another sheet of paper and says, "Stop it. That's enough. That's enough. You got some book learning. I'll give you that. Now read it in French." Nous, le peuple des États-Unis, afin de former une union plus parfaite, établir la justice, assurer la tranquillité. Clerk snatches the paper away from him, hands him another sheet and says, "Give me that." So you want them up the Negroes. Read it in German then. That'll shut you up. Wir, das Volk der Vereinigten Staaten, eine perfekte Union zu bilden, Gerechtigkeit zu schaffen, in der Ruhe zu gewährleisten. Clerk, astonished, snatches the paper away from him again and says, "If that don't beat all." He shuffles through more papers. He hands the professor a fourth sheet and says, "Arabic. Read it in Arabic then." The professor looks at the sheet of paper, takes a beat and says, "My Arabic is a little rusty, but I believe the correct translation is, Negroes cannot vote in this county." So we have our work cut out for us. And here's how it's going to go. We're mailing Louisville residents 3 types of flyers. The first one reminds them that voting is their civic duty. The second one includes the voting history of everyone in their household. And the third one shows them the voting history of their neighbors. We know who voted and who didn't vote. The Nonpartisan Registration Committee has a mailing list of registered voters who sat at the midterms and those who aren't registered. For those of you who volunteered to canvass, you will go door to door, block by block, house by house. For those of you who signed up for the call center, you're going to blow up those telephone lines. Don't be rude, but be aggressive. Vote shame. Shame them into voting. Our workshops will show you how. For somebody who's not registered, say, can this be right? You really aren't registered to vote? Well, let me help you with that. If they set out the midterms, don't ask them if they're going to vote this time around. Assume that they will. Flatter them. Bully them. Whatever it takes. Say, I know that you're a reliable and consistent voter, and we rely on reliable voters like you. So, what time of the day you're going to vote? If you want high voter turnout, use high voter turnout language. Say, I know you're going to vote on November 3rd, but make sure you remind your friends. Peer pressure is so important. Hit up your friends at church, in the beauty shop, at the grocery store. Pull your co-workers aside during lunch break. Studies show that encouragement from a friend makes people 10 times more likely to vote. This resulted in a 2% increase in voting last year. But years of racism has kept black voter turnout low. Voter suppression is real. From moving and closing down polls, to making it harder to stay on the rolls, to rejecting lawful ballots. You've heard national leaders say this again and again. And I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say it, but I'm going to keep on saying it. I will not let them take away my right to vote. Say it with me. I will not let them take away my right to vote. I didn't hear you. I will not let them take away my right to vote. That's it. Free and fair elections are the foundation of this country, and what our men and women in uniform fight every day to defend. It's important that you vote. Whom we elect as candidates is important. And if we come together, step up, use our voices, and go to the ballot box, that's a first step in holding people accountable. Here in Louisville, we have the opportunity because we have the population, we have the issue, and we have the momentum. And if we stick together, stand together, work together, and vote together, and pull this off, what a glorious day of rejoicing that will be. But if you don't vote, if you don't do the work to get good candidates elected, then I don't want to spot you protesting after the fact, complaining about all the stuff that's wrong with city government. And when I see you, I ain't going to speak, because you and I are through. Now, let's get to work.
Hear our plea. Vote for Russell Lee. He's got fight. He'll protect your civil rights. Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee. You want good jobs? Put Russell Lee in charge. It's time to integrate. He's your man in District 8. Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee, Russell Lee. Vote for Russell Lee, Russell Lee.